This is an in-depth summary of 1st and 2nd Kings by ChatGPT. The author is traditionally attributed to Jeremiah or an anonymous prophetic historian. The time period is between 970 to 560 BC. The setting is from the height of Solomon's empire to the fall of Jerusalem. The themes are the blessing of obedience and the curse of disobedience, the rise and the fall of kings under God's covenant, the prophetic call to repentance, God's faithfulness despite Israel's unfaithfulness. If you or your descendants abandon me, then I will uproot Israel, this land that I have given them. 1 Kings 9, 6-7. Part 1. Solomon's reign, glory and decline. 1 Kings 1-11. A. Solomon becomes king. After David's death, Solomon takes the throne amidst the palace intrigue. David charges him, obey the commands, laws, and regulations of the Lord your God. Then you will be successful in all you do. 1 Kings 2-3. Solomon secures the throne and seeks wisdom above all else. Give me an understanding heart so that I can govern your people well. 1 Kings 3:9. God is pleased and grants him not only with wisdom, but also riches and honor. I will give you a wise and understanding heart, and I will also give you what you did not ask for, riches and fame. 1 Kings 3:12-13. B. Solomon's wisdom and achievements. Solomon becomes renowned for his wisdom, wealth, and justice, symbolized by the judgment over the two mothers. 1 Kings 3:16-28. All Israel stood in awe of the king, for they saw the wisdom God had given him for rendering justice. 1 Kings 3:28. His administration brings peace and prosperity. During the lifetime of Solomon, all of Judah and Israel lived in peace and safety. 1 Kings 4:25. C. Building the temple. Solomon fulfills David's dream by constructing the temple in Jerusalem, the dwelling place of God's name. I have built a glorious temple for you, a place where you can live forever. 1 Kings 8:13. At the dedication, Solomon prays for God's continual presence and forgiveness. May your eyes be open towards this temple day and night. Hear the prayers of your people when they face this place. 1 Kings 8:29-30. God responds with both promise and warning. If you follow me with integrity and godliness, I will establish the throne of your dynasty. But if you or your descendants abandon me, this temple will become a heap of ruins. 1 Kings 9:4-8. D. Solomon's downfall. Despite wisdom, Solomon's heart turns to idolatry. In Solomon's old age, they turned his heart to worship other gods instead of being completely faithful to the Lord. 1 Kings 11:4. He marries many foreign wives and builds shrines for their gods. The Lord was very angry with Solomon, for his heart had turned away. 1 Kings 11:9. God declares that the kingdom will be torn from him after his death, but for David's sake, not completely. I will take the entire kingdom from Solomon's descendants for sake of my servant David. I will not take the entire kingdom from Solomon's descendants for sake of my servant David. 1 Kings 11:13. Part 2. The kingdom divides. 1 Kings 12-16. A. Rehoboam and Jeroboam. After Solomon's death, his son Rehoboam becomes king. When the people ask for his lighter taxes, he foolishly replies, "My father beat you with whips, but I will beat you with scorpions." 1 Kings 12:14. This arrogance causes 10 tribes to rebel under Jeroboam. forming the northern kingdom Israel, while Judah remains under Rehoboam. Jeroboam leads Israel into idolatry, setting up golden calves. It is too much trouble for you to worship in Jerusalem. Here are the gods who brought you out of Egypt. 1 Kings 12:28. This becomes the pattern of sin for future northern kings. Part 3. The prophets and the kings of Israel. 1 Kings 17 to 2 Kings 17. A. Elijah's ministry. 1 Kings 17 through 19. God raises up the prophet Elijah to confront the wicked king Ahab and Queen Jezebel, who worship Baal. Elijah declares a drought and is miraculously fed by ravens. The ravens brought him bread and meat each morning and each evening. 1 Kings 17:6. At Mount Carmel, Elijah challenges 450 prophets of Baal to a contest. How much longer will you waver, hobbling between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. 1 Kings 18:21. God answers Elijah's prayers with fire from heaven. Immediately, the fire of the Lord flashed down from heaven, and when people saw it, they cried out, "The Lord, He is God." 1 Kings 18:38 through 39. Despite victory, Elijah flees from Jezebel and despairs, but God confronts him with gentle whisper. After the fire, there was a sound of a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. B. Elisha's ministry. 2 Kings 2 through 8. Elijah passes his mantle to Elisha, who receives a double portion of his spirit. Please let me inherit a double share of your spirit and become your successor. 2 Kings 2:9. Elisha performs many miracles, purifying water, multiplying oil, healing Naaman's leprosy, and raising the dead. There is a prophet in Israel whom God speaks. 2 Kings 5:8. His ministry shows that God's power and mercy still reach even beyond Israel's borders. C. The continuing decline of Israel. Successive northern kings did evil in the Lord's sight. Idolatry, violence, and injustice spread. They followed the example of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had led Israel to sin. 2 Kings 13:2. Finally, God allows Assyria to destroy Samaria, and exile Israel in 722 BC. This disaster came upon the people of Israel because they worshipped other gods. 2 Kings 17:7. Part 4. The Kings of Judah. 2 Kings 18 through 25. A. Hezekiah, a righteous king. In contrast to King Hezekiah, trusts God fully. He trusted in the Lord and the God of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah. 2 Kings 18:5. When Assyria invades and mocks God, Hezekiah prays for deliverance. O Lord our God, rescue us. Then all the kingdoms of the earth will know that you alone are God. 2 Kings 19:19. God answers by sending an angel who destroys the Assyrian army overnight. That night, the angel of the Lord went out and killed 185,000 Assyrian soldiers. 2 Kings 19:35. B. Manasseh, Judah's most wicked king. Hezekiah's son Manasseh reverses all reforms, building altars to idols and even sacrificing his own son. Manasseh led them to do even more evil than the pagan nations. 2 Kings 21:9. This seals Judah's fate. C. Josiah's revival. Later, King Josiah discovers the book of the law in the temple and leads a great national repentance. When the king heard what was written in the book of the law, he tore his cloths in despair. 2 Kings 22:11. He destroys idols, restores true worship, and renews the covenant. Never before had there been a king like Josiah, who turned to the Lord with all his heart. 2 Kings 23:25. Despite his reform, God's judgment still approaches. D. The fall of Jerusalem. After Josiah's death, Judah's last kings, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah, rebel against Babylon in 586 BC. Nebuchadnezzar destroys Jerusalem and burns the temple. He burned down the temple of the Lord, the royal palace, and all the houses of Jerusalem. 2 Kings 25:9. The people are taken into exile, yet the book ends with small note of hope. King Jehoiachin is freed from prison and shown kindness in Babylon. The king of Babylon gave him a regular food allowance as long as he lived. 2 Kings 25:30. Even in judgment, God's covenant promises remain alive. The major themes of this book are: number 1, covenant faithfulness. God's blessings depend on obedience, but his mercy endures even in exile. If you or your descendants abandon me, then I will uproot Israel. 1 Kings 9:6-7. Number 2, the danger of idolatry. From Solomon to the fall of both kingdoms, idolatry proves to be Israel's downfall. They worshipped worthless idols, so they became worthless themselves. 2 Kings 17:15. Number 3, the role of prophets. Prophets like Elijah and Elisha embody God's voice, calling kings to repentance and proving his power over the nations. Is there no God in Israel? Why are you sending me messages to Baal? 2 Kings 1:3. Number 4, God's sovereignty and mercy. Even in destruction, God preserves a remnant and keeps alive the line of David, pointing towards the coming of the Messiah, the true King. In conclusion, the Book of Kings tells a story of human failure and divine faithfulness. From Solomon's golden age to Jerusalem's smoking ruins, one truth stands firm: God is just, merciful, and sovereign over nations. Israel's kings failed, but through their lineage would become Jesus Christ, the perfect King who would not rule by force, but righteousness and peace. His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice forever. Isaiah 9:7.